Hello, everybody. This is Georgiana and Meredith with Creativity for Kids. And today we are going to be unboxing and assembling the Big Gem Diamond Painting Light. So, Meredith, take it away.
Yay, thank you, Georgiana, and thank you, Felicia. It's so nice to be here, and thank you all for attending. So like Georgiana said, we're actually putting together our Big Gem Diamond Painting Light. And here's our box, and here's our sample so you can see what the finished piece looks like. Now, later on, we're actually going to turn out the lights, and you can see how cool it looks when you plug it in and turn on the light that's inside here. So let's go ahead and open up the box and get started. Okay, so what we have here is our Big Gem Diamond Painting surface for the light. And as you can see, it has Saturn and a couple other planets and a shooting star. And I believe that's the Little Dipper. So we'll leave that to the side for now. Here is our light, and our light is powered by a USB cable. So for the light to plug in and work, you'll have to plug this into a USB port. So oftentimes your computer will have one, or maybe your parents' iPhone or phone might have a cable like that, or an attachment like that that goes into the wall, and you can plug this into that. So inside here, I'll show you. This is actually where the light is, inside the cap. So we'll get to that in a little bit. We have our wonderful instructions here. And all of our wonderful, beautiful gems. These are all rhinestones. And the rhinestones in this kit are actually different than the rhinestones in all of our other Big Gem Diamond Painting kits. And I'll explain that to you when we get to those. In here, we have our sticky putty, and this is helpful for holding our planet's paper down. Here we have our decorating tool, our little open tip Big Gem decorating tool. And we also have the wax that goes with it. And I will show you guys how to use those together. This is the tray that will hold all of our rhinestones. And then here we have two cutout pieces of black paper. Now these will fit inside this little clear plastic lid, and it'll be really cool when we show you how it works. But the idea is for this to project a cool design up on your ceiling or on your wall, and we'll get to that as well. So let's go ahead and start. Clear a space, and a large enough space so you can have room to decorate your Big Gem Diamond Painting planets design. A helpful tip, if you want to cover your surface with a towel, that will help if you do accidentally dump your rhinestones over. They won't go tumbling all over your desk. Like this bag, it's actually resealable. So if you don't finish your project all at one time, you can always just slide all of your materials back into the bag and keep them contained so they don't make a mess. All right, so prepping our gems. What we're going to do is take our gems, and the gems come in resealable bags as well. So all you do is you peel open the bag and then just put some gems in your tray like that. And you can put all the different colors. You can try and do just a couple colors at a time. It's up to you. And just so you know, we do have a sample on the box to follow the colors of how to decorate, but you can definitely decorate your planets however you want. It's up to you. So I've actually already started doing some decorating. You can see one side is flat and one side is more, or has little cuts in it. We're going to be trying to have all of the rhinestone faceted side up. So the flicking onto our little planet design.
I am so sorry. Look like they're having some technical difficulties. I just want to give it a few more seconds here to see if they're going to be able to get back in. There they are. Give me 1 second. Let me get them situated.
I think we had a little hiccup there for a second, but we're back. So what we have are all of our different colored rhinestones. And as I mentioned, the rhinestones that we're using have a flat back and a faceted side. So what we'll be doing is placing the flat side down onto our surface here. So let's go ahead and get started. This tool, as I mentioned, it has an empty tip. And what we're going to do is just pick up some of this wax with the empty tip. So you're just going to peel back a little bit of the paper, the protective paper of the wax. And then you just push the tip of this down into the wax, and it picks up just enough to be sticky. So the idea is that we just created a sticky little tip of our tool to be able to pick up our rhinestones a little bit easier. So you just push your tip onto a rhinestone, and now you're ready to place it on your design. Now, before we start placing our rhinestones on our design, in the instructions, we actually have a guide for you to follow. So if you would like to follow the color pattern that you see on the box, this is that color pattern. And so I have started following that color pattern, but you don't need to. You can do whatever you would like in order to color in with your rhinestones the cool planet design that we have. So if you are using the gem placement guide, what you'll do is take some of your sticky putty, and you can just tear off a little bit of it and just squish it around a little bit with your fingers, just to make it kind of soft. And then you're going to stick right on the corner of your placement guide. Just going to stick on the corners And those are the top corners. We'll do the bottom corners as well. Here and here. And then just match up your design sheet over the guide. Have to match it up a little bit better. Here we go. Down there, there, here, and here. And as you see me doing that, you can see there's actually a clear protective sheet over the planet design. So why that is to keep all the sticky surface of the design from picking up things that you don't want things to stick to. So as you work, you can just peel up the part of the design that you're working on. So we're going to start right here on this cute little planet. And I'm just going to fold the protective sheet up. And actually, I might just use a little bit more sticky putty and just stick it up so it's out of the way. Now, as I mentioned, you want your tip to have a little bit of the pink wax in there. And the next thing you do is basically just color in with your rhinestones. So there's 4 purple dots, which represents where to place your rhinestones. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, as you're doing this, you might notice some of your rhinestones are upside down. In order to flip them back up, you can just hit your tray, kind of like bounce it a little bit so the rhinestones flip around. And just do that every now and then if you need to flip your rhinestones. All right, so the next line we have red. So let's see, some of my red ones are upside down. Now, if you are not using the color guide, that's perfectly fine. You just want to make sure that you don't run out of one color. So you might need to just plan out how you want to color in your design with the colors of rhinestones that you have. Now, if you accidentally pick up one of the rhinestones upside down, you can just flick it off back into the tray and pick up another one. Now, why I love this kit, I mean, I love all of our Big Gem diamond painting kits. They're just so sparkly, and this is such an easy craft to do, and it's very, very relaxing to just pick up these little rhinestones and place them where they go. But why I love this one in particular is because of the end result is a light. And when you see the light come through all these cool rhinestones, it's so pretty. So again, at the end of our class, we'll be turning out the light so you guys can see what it looks like when you're done decorating and the light shines through. And you might be thinking to yourself, most of the rhinestones that I've used before have a silver back, and these don't have that silver backing, and that's exactly why the light will shine through them. So it's really cool to see. And if you do enjoy this kit, the Big Gem Diamond Light, we have a ton of other Big Gem diamond painting kits that you can check out. Now, if you do not have this kit and you're following along, that's okay. You can just use your own supplies and create your own rhinestone light. So what you would need to do is find a piece of clear acetate, or you could actually just design directly on a container, something like this, you could just decorate exactly on a little mason jar light, which do exist in the world. I believe you could check your local Michaels and see if they have any kind of light up containers like that. And then you would just put adhesive on the surface and stick your rhinestones on the surface of your light. And it would be a similar experience as this. So a similar result, I'll say. And again, I'm just moving the rhinestones around a little bit so they flip over, and I can easily pick up the top of the rhinestone and put the flat part of the rhinestone down on our design. If you do accidentally put the wrong side, so like if you accidentally pick up the bottom of the rhinestone and stick it on, it still works, but you're more likely to have that rhinestone fall off and it's not as shiny. So you want to try and put the flat side down. Wow, and we're almost halfway done, or we are halfway done with that little planet. All right, so we'll do the blue next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you guys may notice I have my rhinestones right here where I'm working. Earlier, when I was working on the large planet, I actually had them all the way over here, so I kept having to reach over. I definitely recommend having it closer to where you're working, just because you're less likely to reach over your design and have it stick to you, and you're less likely to dump your rhinestones on your table. So after you're done putting all your rhinestones down like that, just push it all down to make sure that they're all sticking well. And we'll do our star next. Easy peasy. And on the guide here, on the color guide, you'll see some of the stars and some of the areas that have like a little bit of a rainbow color in them. Those represent this really cool rhinestone. It's clear, but it has like an iridescent finish to it. And if you guys have ever been on any of the other classes that I've done with the Big Gem diamond painting, this is my absolute favorite color. I love this one because it's so rainbowy and it picks up whatever colors around it. So I tend to use that one a lot. So we're just filling in different stars. And up here, a little green one. A little blue one. All right, so all of this area is already done. So we're going to just peel back some more of our protective sheet. Actually, I'm just going to remove it. And this little swirly gig of the outer space is what we're going to work on next. I am going to redo the tip of my tool. So because I can see it's kind of flat and we want a little bit of that pink wax sticking out the tip of it. So you can just do exactly what we did before and just push the tip of it onto that square. So you can see here, there's a chunk of it at the tip, and you can just use your finger to push it down and kind of round it out. There we go. So now we're all ready to do our next shape. And it really doesn't take that much force to stick these down onto your design. And I'm wondering, all of my friends out there, do you guys have a question? Do you have any questions on this, or are you following along and enjoying this as much as I am? So if you want, you can write in and Georgiana will tell me if anyone has any questions, or if you'd like to just say hello or share anything about our arts and crafts, feel free. I'll have to shake them around a little bit more. There's a green one. And it looks like I'll need a few more green. So I do recommend only putting in maybe like a half of the amount of gems into your tray instead of dumping all of them into your tray, just so you can kind of, it's easier to pick out the colors when they're all not in there. So I have my leftovers to the side here, and you can always just add more when you need more colors. Like that. All right, some more green. And one more, and then we'll go into the yellow. Or I should call it light orange. There we go. And two more light orange. Oh, this is so relaxing. I'm really enjoying this.
So Meredith,
Yes.
if you were going to outer space, what are 3 things you would pack?
Oh, if I were going to outer space, I would definitely pack chocolate because that would be my breakfast. I would try and pack my puppy dog. Her name is Jade, and I think she would really like coming with me to outer space. She would probably try and chase things though, so I'd have to keep tight control over her so she wouldn't try and jump out of the spaceship or the rocket ship. And then lastly, I think I'd bring my camera so I could take a lot of pictures because I think it might be really cool up there. That's a great question.
Yeah, I think Jade would really like to look out the window.
Jade would want to go get the stars. She would be like, what's that? And was that your question or one of our friends' questions?
That was my question.
Oh, Georgiana. Okay, well, what 3 things would you bring?
Oh, what would I bring? I didn't think about this. I have been eating a lot of chocolate chip cookies, so I would bring the cookies to your chocolate. I would probably bring my papa because he is
Aw.
just very entertaining and filled with knowledge. I feel like he would he would probably know more about outer space than I did. And I would have to bring something for music.
Ooh.
I feel like it'd be very quiet, but I like to have a good dance party.
Oh, an outer space dance party.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. That sounds really neat. Oh, well, good answers there and great question. That's fun to think about. Yeah. Oh, I am going to cover these 2 up because my finger keeps sticking to them. So that's the thing when you remove the entire sheet of protective sheet, it does open up all of the sticky areas to stick to things like your fingers. So you have to cover them up so they don't stick. All right, we have about 4, 5 more blue ones, and then we're totally done. and then I'll show you what to do next. Oop. 1, 2, and I need one more. Oop, 3. Okay, cool. So I'm just pushing them all down and making sure they're all stuck on there. Stuck, 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 stuck. And we'll put our rhinestones to the side and our tool to the side, our sticky putty over there. Everything's out of the way. Good. All right. And of course, we'll remove our design from our instructions. Then remove the sticky putty. Okay. So next we are going to, on the back, it says what to do. We're assembling our light. So we're going to take, where did our light go? Here it is. So my light came with the top already screwed on, but if yours didn't come screwed on, you're going to want to screw it on just like that. Now place one of the shadow discs inside the clear cap. Now this is the shadow disc. These two are the shadow discs. So you can choose either the stars or the straights. And I'm going to choose the straights because in my other sample, I chose the stars. And you just put it inside this plastic cap. I did it so quickly. All right, ready? Boop. Put it just like that. And then you're going to slide this over what seems to be the bottom of the plastic jar. So, ta-da, it fits on perfectly. All right, so next we are going to put our wrap. We're going to wrap it around our jar. So you'll see here, there's 2 tabs. Here's a tab and here's a tab. And then over here, there's 2 slots. Here's a slot and here's a slot. These tabs slide right into the slots and they'll stay there. So you're just going to wrap your design right around the jar and then place we might need to do an overhead here and just kind of slide. Slide the tab into the slot one at a time. All right, trying that again. All right, so instead of doing it around, I'm going to do it to itself first and then just slide it over the jar. And I think that'll be easier to show you guys. So just sliding the tab in like this. Kind of at an angle seems to be working better. Oop. A little bit slippery. There we go. So we got that one. And then we'll do, oh, and then it just came out. We'll work on the bottom one first. That one and that one. There we go. So they go in just like that. And now you can just, I'm going to remove the top. Slide it over just like that. And then we'll put our cap back on. There we go. Perfect. All right. So as I had mentioned, this is a USB port. So we're going to plug this in to our computer. And you'll see here on your cord, there's an on-off switch. So then once you plug in your USB cord, you can just hit the switch and turn the light on, or hit the switch and turn the light off. So let's go ahead and we will turn off the lights. Ta-da! And this is how cool our Big Gem diamond painting light looks. So this was the one sample that I had already done, and you can see this is what the shadow disc looks like, and this is what the shadow disc projects. So it's really cool, and it will project up onto your ceiling if you point it upwards, or if you want to point it at the wall or whatever. So it's really neat, and you can see all of the rainbow colors that are coming through the rhinestones from the light. Isn't that cool? So that's how our Big Gem diamond painting light works. Now let's go ahead and I'll put the other shadow disc in, and you can see what that one looks like too. So hold on one second. I'll grab this one out. And we can probably just keep the lights out for it. So there's that. We'll put the other one on. And this is how this one looks. And you can see how it projects too. So just really cool. So again, if you have this kit and you were following along with me at home and you were doing your Big Gem diamond painting, I would love to see how you decorated your light, your outer space design. And if you want, you can ask a friend or an adult to take a picture, and you can put it up on our social media #CreativityForKids account. And if you like this kit, there's a ton of amazing kits at Michael's, and I'm sure you'll find more and more to create with. So let's turn our lights back on. Turn off our light. All right, and I want to say thank you so much for joining me today for doing our Big Gem diamond painting light, and I look forward to the next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.